All right, so I cannot believe this is all the oil that's in this oil catch can. Took off my oil catch can for the first time since I've had it, and this was the oil that got caught by it, I guess, since I first got this installed. Today is May 10th, 2024, and this is what came out of this oil catch can. The first time that I've taken it out since I did the install, and I'm just about to screw it back on right now. But a great bit of oil came out of this oil catch can. Pretty shocking. I didn't think that much would come out. Put this on like pretty snug. I'm just checking everything in my engine bay. But once again, this is what came out. So this much came out. I'll put up on the screen how long it's been since this oil catch can has been on since I did the install. But whatever that time is, that's how long it took for this amount to build up. And once again, today is May 10th, 2024. Gonna be pulling up at GTS. I got Pedro. All right, so like I always do, I always cover my steering wheel to protect my suede and of course my seats. Let me go ahead and put her in valet mode. All right, so here my guy Pedro, GTS. All right, so just went to my spot, Chipotle, picked up lunch, and the brakes on my Hellcat finally got replaced. So if people were wondering, someone asked me had I changed brakes yet, and I told them no back then when I did change my brakes, but I just got the new brakes installed. I went with the original OEM Brembo front and rear brake pads, so I didn't want to play around with anything else. So it's my first time having to change these brakes in over 4 years, so I was real excited about that. I took care of the brakes pretty good to the point to where it's I eased right into the brakes. I rode the brakes very light application to the brakes, so I wouldn't have an issue with rotors, and thank God my rotors were good. So I could have just did this myself in my own garage, but I don't have my jacks yet. So in this new project that I'm working on, I'm looking at building a lift so for my garage, but as of now I had to go to one of my guys to bypass the dealership. I was not going to this dealership to allow them to do a job that I can get done for hardly no price, if not anything, if I would have did it myself. But overall, his shop is pretty versatile. He of course does alignments, tires, rotations, brakes, suspensions, and a few other things that I'll put up on the list. But you know, my guy Pedro is my guy. He's my go-to guy. If I don't have the means to do a job, I'll just go to him. Some of the things that you've seen I've done to my car myself in previous videos, you know, some of the installs I've done. But like I said, if I don't have the means to do it, then I'll just go to him for stuff like that. Of course, when I get brand new tires, I'll be going to him. And I already went to him for an alignment when I first moved back from New York City. So that is that as far as the brakes. So literally over 16,000 miles and the brakes were just needing to be replaced. And like I said in previous videos, I was down to like 5 millimeters, which is basically the, you know, kind of like the caution zone. All right, so en route right now to go get some gas, and it's about that time. So I wanted to touch on just the fact that I wouldn't recommend any other brakes on a Hellcat. Years ago, when I had my Daytona 392, I went to Power Stops. I had the same tire, wheel, and brake package as a Hellcat back then. All right, that 2017 Daytona had the same brakes as a Hellcat of the same year, 2017, with the same tire size and rim size and everything. Of course, now these wide bodies have, you know, wider wheels, bigger tires, but the same 6-piston brake setup. So I already kind of had my foot wet when it came to brakes, as far as, you know, Hellcat brakes, because I had that same brake package on my Daytona 392. So with that car with less power, I've said it before in videos in the past, I would risk changing from OEM Brembos to those Power Stops. I would take that risk, you know, just to kind of avoid brake dust. But with a Hellcat, when I got my Hellcat, I said it since day one. I've been having my Hellcat over 4 years now. I said it since day one. I would never take out or change the OEM brakes to Power Stops on this car. I'll just deal with the brake dust and stay OEM and always stay Brembo. I would never go to anything less than this Brembo brake package, you know, or brake setup. So, you know, that's just something that I kind of figured out and made a decision on over time from experience. I already knew that I would not be changing the brakes on this car to anything less than OEM, so that's what I did. So I would highly recommend as gas. My Shell V-Power Nitro is looks like it's $3.89. All right, I wasn't necessarily on E, but it took $52 to fill her up from a quarter. All right, so I just wanted to pull over so we can talk a little better. Actually, let me get my towel. You can see some, just used a little detail spray, and I want to hit some spots I missed. But definitely I would say stick with the Brembos on this car. I would not necessarily advise you to switch and go to like Power Stops or some different type of brake outside of the OEM of this car, just because it's a Hellcat. It has a lot more power, and to me, you always want the greatest stopping power that you can get with a Hellcat. Yes, the Power Stops are good. Yes, you get less brake dust, but to me, I'd rather just stick with OEM on this car instead of taking a risk and going something outside of OEM and, you know, just having less performance. I mean, you're not gonna have you know, that worse of performance. Those brakes have been proven to be pretty good, but you know, yes, they have less brake dust. My calipers are red now. Let me just come on this side because of the sun. And you know, it really annoys me. They got a couple of chips. From what I was told, these deep rims, rocks can get caught up in the rims and it can kick up, and you know, the rocks can hit the paint and affect, you know, the actual integrity of your caliper. So on this one, it's not too bad. You can't really see it right now, but over here I got more rock chips on this driver's side caliper, so I may end up getting them painted again. Just come over here outside of the shadows so you can kind of see it. A couple of chips, nothing too bad. I can get some touch-up paint and just put it on there if I really wanted to. It's not that bad. I mean, it's just a caliper, but calipers make a car, you know, if you ask me. So I want them to look nice. But you know, this is Genzilla. It's been over 4 years and just got my brakes done, so I was able to take care of these brakes a lot better than I did with the Daytona 392, and simply because I did not aggressively brake on this car, because I learned my lesson from the last time when I had that car for 3 years. And I like to call it feather braking, riding the brake extremely light. You don't need much to get this car to stop. So, you know, the heavy braking is just gonna wear your pads down faster, and of course wear your rotors down. So this time I did not have to get front rotors. I just changed the brake pads out. My guy told me I did extremely good taking care of the brake pads to prolong and not have to switch out and change my rotors. So I was happy about that. So that's it, brakes are done. Also in this video you'll probably see about that oil catch can that I talked about. That was my first time unscrewing the actual the can and seeing what blowback or blow by, whatever you want to call it, was in that can. So you saw that a decent amount, you know, a little bit more than what I thought it would be. So it's definitely doing this job, and I don't drive this car that much. This car has a garage kept. It's always been not parked on the street, even when I lived in New York City, and now I have my own garage, so it's definitely even more cared for. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just a quick video, quick vlog on what I recommend on brakes for a Hellcat, how to take care of them. You can do what you want. Like I said, the power stops are good. Most people know about those. They probably have some other brands that I don't know about or that I'm not mentioning, but that give you less brake dust than OEM. But to me, with a Hellcat, I would just stick with OEM, deal with the brake dust, just stay on top of cleaning your rims and your tires and your car, and you'll get the best performance.